Hello, I'm Attorney Todd Leneve. Welcome to West Virginia Gun Law. Yesterday was January 20th, 2025, Inauguration Day. President Donald Trump is back in the White House, and yesterday he began his administration signing a number of executive orders geared at a number of things, one of which was curbing government activity until his administration gets fully in place, gets their appointees in place, and gets things figured out as to what their priorities are going to be. We're going to talk about one of those orders here for just a few minutes. Stick around.
The second item, President Trump, is a regulatory freeze, as you announced in your speech, preventing bureaucrats from issuing any more regulations until we have full control of this, the government and this administration. Thank you, sir.
That's a fantastic clip. So this order that you just saw the president sign yesterday essentially says, hey, we are stopping any new rules being imposed by government agencies, bureaucracies, until this administration has had a chance to get in place, evaluate what's going on, get their people in place to take over these various agencies, and advance the agenda that President Trump has for his next 4 years. And so, where this plays in immediately with the Second Amendment community is, of course, the ATF. The ATF is a bureaucratic agency that, as we all know, has been making rules for the last several years, for longer than that, that absolutely infringe on our rights as American Second Amendment abiding citizens. And this order says, look, all that stuff stops. So what's kind of interesting, and what I'm not sure about just yet, I'm not sure how this is going to play out, is anything that is currently in play but perhaps in the courts on appeal, if his order will have any impact on any of that litigation. Certainly if we see a new ATF director appointed prior to him hopefully dismantling the ATF, and there are several bills now and several people joining on as co-sponsors for bills to abolish the ATF and even the NFA, the National Firearms Act. So that would be phenomenal, because if the NFA goes away, the need for the ATF really in large part gets diminished, and to the point that maybe we don't even need them. So with this new order, there is a possibility that any action related to the making of new rules, which again are some of the things that are going on in litigation right now, may be brought to a stop until Trump gets his appointee in place to head the ATF. And at that point, the ATF certainly could say, hey, we aren't going to pursue this rule anymore. We're going to strike it. We're going to walk away from this. We're going to start walking some things back. It's going to be an interesting time to see what happens. And again, right now, I probably have more questions than answers, and I'm probably creating more questions than providing answers for you. But I thought that it was important that we get out ahead of this quickly and talk about the significance of this executive order, because it does change the landscape of government for the immediate foreseeable future. We're probably talking a period of 90 to 180 days while his team gets put in place and really evaluates what these agencies are doing, what they're going to continue to do, and decide, are these things that we want to pursue, or are we going to just stop all these things in their tracks? But the great thing is that as of right now, Only the things that are in play from the ATF and from the enforcement practices that they've engaged in remain in effect. And even those are probably watered down somewhat, since right now the ATF is operating under a deputy director, interim director, because Steve Dettelbach, of course, resigned, and we don't have an actual head of the ATF at the moment. So one thing we can say is that probably we know generally what the playing field is right now when it comes to the sorts of rules that the ATF is trying to enforce and impose on our Second Amendment rights. And we don't have to worry about anything new coming out of left field. And where this is particularly significant, we look at the pistol brace rule. And again, we just talked about that recently. I won't go too deep back into it. But the rule itself was vacated because of the manner in which it was advanced under the Administrative Procedures Act. Because it was vacated and because it was only a violation of the APA and not the Second Amendment the way it was analyzed, the ATF would have been free to go back to the drawing board and start over with the rulemaking process regarding pistol braces. Well, now, under this new executive order, things like that will not be able to happen. Can't happen, can't be done, and so we don't have to worry about that. So right now, that's just a great peace of mind knowing that, hey, pistol braces for the time being are not going to get anybody in trouble. Anyway, quick video, just wanted to bring this thing to your attention. I think there's going to be a lot more to come in the days ahead, the weeks ahead, and I'm excited to see what sort of initiatives President Trump takes now that he's back in office, and certainly anything that relates directly to the Second Amendment, we're going to work to try to get out to you guys as quickly as we can. Thanks for taking a few minutes. Look forward to seeing you the next time around. Until then, take care, stay safe.